It is showtime, I guess. So it says, you got people. There we go. I do have people. And yesterday, I'm going to go very briefly into a show yesterday. I have a gentleman who, likes to frequent my show by the name of Howard. And he's often very negative about what I say or what I do. Um, he came with advice, but it's hard to take someone's advice who habitually insults you and doesn't necessarily come out with the best intent. And Howard believes a lot of things that I just don't. I think they're. I just, he has, and he may be correct. It's just that like nobody else, most people don't believe in some of the theories that he comes up with, and they may be true, but he is someone who basically dabbles in certain conspiracy theories and the like, and then he often comes on with a rather hostile attitude, and that hostile attitude and behavior basically ends up, you know, kind of bringing my own show down. And I guess he might be interesting, and the conflict might make it interesting. But there are people that really don't like Howard. They don't like his behavior, and he often will use his knowledge to abuse. He's got no diplomacy when he's on my show. He may have diplomacy, but he has no diplomacy when he's on my show. He can be very thin-skinned, and I would say this directly to him. Uh, and then after the show, I was talking to Donning Armour and Angela, someone that Angela and Donning are two people that in my particular Discord, the collective, the majority of people seem to have a problem with, and they don't necessarily uh, like them. Stream yards, please. Okay, so you want to come in, and I will invite people. I'm going to StreamYard, please. So I'm going to invite people into the StreamYard right now. If that's what they want to do, they can come on in into the wonderful StreamYard if they're willing to talk and discuss any issues that I talk about. And Donning Armour uh, believes in what is best for his race and ethnicity, being a white person, a person of European descent. And there is a part of me that does empathize with the way people of European descent are treated. They're belittled. Anytime they air their grievances, they are belittled, mocked, spoken down to with any kind of double talk. They are defamed. And some people have pushback and are not okay with that. If you're okay with being defamed and people mocking you, and I mentioned the documentary. I believe it's Everything's Going to Be All White, which basically is mocking white people and people of European descent. And this kind of wokeism seems to be all over the civilized world, not just in America, but it's particularly strong within the Anglo sphere. And I see some inconsistencies there, and I see some disrespect. And we have Dawning Gender, also known as Sly. Dawning, how the hell are you?
I'm doing great, Brian, but why is it you always have to play the victim here?
Um, and that's another thing of belittling. I'm playing the victim. I'm speaking. What about what I've said? Do you agree or disagree with?
I believe you're not the victim, Brian, because you do the same things you seem to complain about,
Such
but
as?
you're not as bad as you belittle people. You do that, Brian. You mock people,
Mhm.
and at times you can be a real asshole.
Can you give me examples?
Can I give you? No, I'm not giving you examples. You
Well,
know damn well what you're capable of and what you do. Don't try to make my opinion not matter, Brian.
okay. Well, I'm not making your opinion. I mean, but if you give if you claim if you make claims, uh,
The proof is I've seen you do this stuff, Brian. So
well, I mean, I'm not a pacifist. I'm not a turn the other cheek kind of person. I wish that person would not have. Oh God, can you change your avatar? I'd rather not have that word. That person has the smart FAG on this thing. I don't know. Yeah, change your avatar if you're going to join me. I'm not going to have that word on there. I'd prefer not to have any profanity on my show. I think it makes the show low level and it hinders things. So, I mean, but he did call me an asshole, and maybe I can be an asshole to a degree, and it is wrong. But I will say this: I'm an asshole to people who do it to me first.
no, I don't see anything wrong with being an asshole. I just see something wrong with complaining and not playing. Well, everything is fair, Brian, in love and war. So if you insult somebody and somebody insults you back, it's quite fair, isn't it, Brian?
Yes, it is. That is correct. It is fair. But the people that are making these documentaries and a lot of the establishment, they think they're fair and they think they're noble, and they're not. All right. Back on is Throw Me a Bone. How are you? Is this Scott or is this Howard?
Guess.
Yeah, it's Howard.
Is it? Wait. Who's Throw Me a Bone? Identify yourself. Speak.
Guess.
Do you have anything to add?
Yes.
What's to add?
Keep talking.
Thank you very much. So, Donning Gender, who's putting down Donning Armor because he doesn't like.
It's a mockery, Brian. I'm making a mockery of that fool.
Okay. Okay. And in your eyes, he deserves to be mocked. Um,
He deserves to be thrown out a window, but it's not going to happen.
oh, Howard, you're back. Howard, you're back. And
Look
I
how happy you are. Almost in a gay way.
you know what? I kind of knew it was you because of the word that you said. And you are, yeah, I mean, basically, you come on the show basically to put me down and then give me unrequited advice often. And you are a very contentious person.
You say that as if that's a problem.
Yeah, in general, it is a problem
Why is that?
because it's not bringing anything to the table.
Brings lots to the table. Makes you laugh, doesn't it?
Occasionally, but more times than not, it pisses people off. And I've heard several people say
What
that
what people? What people are pissed off?
I have friends who are not on Discord and stuff who say that Howard guy is really obnoxious.
Hmm. Well, that's true, but who gives a shit what they think?
Well,
Do they
and
have the balls to come on this
That's just your
abortion of
boy
a
Donnie
show?
in armor bitching about this guy
no,
here.
no.
Do they have the balls to come
Yeah, it
on
is. You're
this?
smiling, so you're lying, Brian.
Yeah, he does lie. Do they have the balls to come on this abortion of a show and confront me?
Now you call this an abortion of the show, but yet you're on it. Why do you come on a show that you consider an abortion?
I try to help people.
Well, okay. Uh, you're not. I don't think you're that helpful, but yeah, I mean, you think putting people down and maybe you're making them stronger to a point, but you really
You're a
think.
bit too fixated on the negative. You should think of the positives.
Well, you're negative towards me, Howard.
Deservedly so.
Why?
Well, for one thing, you're shady.
How so?
The look on your face tells me that you know it's true.
That's not the way I see it, but yeah, I mean, you think I'm
Well,
shady.
I'm sure you would like to convince yourself that you're not, but you're shady.
Well, you need to tell me more, Howard.
Well, sure. You will stop me from talking about anybody. Well, I'll give you an example. Donning Armour, who I think is one of the most hideous people that ever walked the face of the earth. Yet you'll try to stop me from saying things, that's my opinion, and yet you'll let them talk about me nonstop while you put me in the background where I can hear but can't say anything. That just shows the level of your deception. It's unacceptable, and it doesn't rise to the level of what you purport yourself to be.
When that happened, it was not on the air. It was after.
Yes, it was on the air. It was both on the air and off the air. Apparently, you have a bad memory, or you have a selective memory where you only remember what fits your story. Your story is flawed because, yes, it was off the air, but prior to that, it was on the air. It's not on the air because it's not air. It's not going through the FCC airwaves, so it's not really air, is it? But it was going across the internet,
Okay,
and
and
it was only yesterday, so it shouldn't be that difficult for you to remember.
well, I remember taking you off. The only reason I take you off is because you habitually interrupt people, Howard.
People habitually interrupt me, but that doesn't phase you. So when your friend Donovan Armour talked over me and talked over Debbie, you said nothing. So you are again a disingenuous person because you're certainly not consistent. You try to pretend that you have a high moral ground and that you're not going to um, abridge or cross over that morality, but you do it all the time. Case in point was your bringing up that I interrupt. Well, your friend Donnie Armour spent more time yesterday interrupting me and talking over me, as well as Debbie, including mocking her accent in a very poor fashion. It was not even entertaining, wasn't even a good accent that he was trying to do. And yet you allowed it. You said nothing, something that if I did that, you would be whining about it. In fact, I've noticed that you have a fixation on me. All roads for you lead to the one angry Jew. You discuss the Jew in third person and you say, well, the Jew this and the Jew that, and the Jew does this, and we can go back, and this is the fault of the Jew. And all the time, I wasn't even on here. I was in the background or not even connected. But you can't help yourself. You have a fixation. You have a Jew fixation.
Um, And perhaps I do focus on you because in the past and in recent times, your behavior, in my opinion, has been particularly egregious with regards to interrupting and over talking people and
The
talking
past
to
is
individuals. You do that quite often.
prologue.
Well, the past is I am on times on average a little bit more ready to basically uh jump on you just because you do it. You are on my, you follow me and you are on my show quite often. You don't do a show of your own because you can I don't give a hoot what you say. You show it to me in practice
Why are you fixated on whether I do a show or not?
because you're on my show and you follow my show and you tell me
What's the
how I should do
purpose
that
of
show.
you?
You don't
Hold on.
tell me how it should be done.
What's
Show me
what's
how it should be done. I don't give a hoot what you say.
what is the purpose of your doing a show?
My purpose is for me to strive to maintain Stoic Calm, but you can't show me in practice.
And so when somebody follows your abortion of a show and somebody calls your show, you call that out as somehow being egregious?
When I have other guests on,
I'm
and
sorry. Are other guests more important than me? I don't think so.
well, no, well, they're just as important as you, and you habitually interrupt, and you sometimes take things to a level.
Did you notice our friend
You often
Donning
say,
habitually interrupting yesterday?
I did not,
Or
okay, Debbie, I did not delete the show. That's not true. I did not delete it.
did you notice your friend donning armor habitually interrupting and talking over both me and Debbie? Yes or no?
Yes, I did.
And why didn't you say anything?
I did.
You didn't. You
This-
only talked about me. You only talked about whether I did it. You don't talk about donning armor, so you knew about it, and now you admit to that, and yet you said nothing. You didn't defend Debbie, who certainly didn't deserve his. I don't know what would we call him? Is he a woman hater? I guess he is. I think there's some kind of psychosexual thing going on with him that he doesn't like women. He certainly doesn't like smart women. He doesn't like women that can handle themselves nor can properly speak. That would describe Debbie. And you sat back and did nothing. You just chuckled and smiled, mentally scratching your bald little head while your good friend insulted and talked over both myself and Debbie. Now, what's your excuse? Why shouldn't I think of you as a smarmy little man for that bit of display?
Because Howard, I doubt you see yourself as you really are.
No, that's not an answer to deflect to me. I asked you a
That's up to
question.
you. Yeah,
Why didn't you defend Debbie? Forget me. I'm fixated in your brain. I'm living in your head. But you allowed Donnie Armour to talk over Debbie over and over and over again. And you said nothing. And now you admit that you knew he was doing it. What is your excuse for not saying something, number one, and stopping it? Why didn't you put him in the background? The proper answer, if you were ever in the military, and I know you weren't, but you do know about the military, the proper answer for you to give for this question is no excuse. If you had been in the Army, it would be no excuse, sir. But the answer that you should give is no excuse because you have no excuse.
okay. I have no excuse.
I think you should apologize to Debbie now.
Debbie, I'm sorry for allowing Donning Armor to interrupt
Why are
you.
you smiling?
Okay, again,
No, but wouldn't that apology be a little bit more sincere if you weren't grinning and smiling. I have this vision of Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. You're just standing there with a smirk on your face as you apologize to Debbie. It doesn't seem like much of an apology.
Brian's not sorry. He loves donning armor. That's his secret boyfriend. Isn't that right, Brian?
I'm
That's who you're
laughing,
always
laughing at the
talking
fact
to.
that you take it serious. And again, Howard, I really would hope that you would do your own show and show me in practice how it should be done.
We're not talking about my own show. We're talking about why didn't you defend Debbie?
Well, Debbie is not going to accept my apology because she says
Oh, of course she would. How dare you? You don't even know that. You haven't offered it, and you've decided that she won't accept it. So therefore, what? I am calling you out on your bullshit. Suck it up.
Okay. Look, things do happen, and sometimes, like, I don't, I'm trying to, and things get hostile, and I'm trying to uh, maintain things. And again, yeah, I mean, look, do I do things perfectly? No, but Howard, you habitually come on my
Again, back to me again. This is not
right,
about me. This is
right
about you.
back to you. Well, no, you already came.
Say no excuse, Debbie. I'm sorry, and leave it at that. And try not to smirk while
I
you do it.
just said no. Don't tell me how to, do an apology. You
Don't
just
you know how? You think smirking is the way to do it? You're smirking like Gomer Pyle in Full Metal Jacket.
smirking because you're making a mountain out of a molehill.
No, I'm not. Ask
Yeah,
Debbie if it's a
sure.
molehill or a mountain.
That's Debbie. That's Debbie's opinion.
She's the one that was offended. She's the one that was attacked, and you said nothing.
I thought she could defend herself. I let them both, go at it, and they could defend themselves. And that's what
Then, if that's the case, why do you, and now we'll bring it to me only for a short period of time. If that's the case, then why do you continuously mute me? Can't the other people take it? Or are they all like Debbie? They can take it and they don't need you to do anything. Why are you so consumed with me that you will put me in the background while allowing our friend donning armor to insult me and insult Debbie, and it evokes nothing from you? You just sit there and smirk. No excuse, sir.
no excuse.
Ask Debbie if that's acceptable.
Debbie, is that acceptable? There's no excuse. Look, I didn't have any excuse. I was again, and no excuse. I allowed donning armor to talk over you, and I allowed him to make fun of and mimic you, and I apologize.
The answer may be delayed.
Well, it's not. Listen.
Thunderdome. I'd like to stick Dennis and donning armor in the same Thunderdome. 2 men enter,
Oh,
1 man
Dennis and
leave.
donning armor would be great drinking buddies.
What do you have to say now? Are you so stunned?
I'm not necessarily stunned. It's just like, you know,
Trying to help you
I
be a
certainly,
better you.
listen, I didn't want to hurt. I didn't want Debbie to have her feelings hurt and ran off. And it's, to a degree, there's, it's a difficult thing when you have people that you're not familiar, that you're not familiar with all of their, you know, um,
Don't make excuses. Just leave it the way it is. No excuse.
okay. Now, there's no excuse, Howard, for you not to have your own show. I think that why don't you have it? You can show me in practice how it should be done.
I've told you many times. I take your show and make it mine
Why would you do that? That's rather selfish.
because I can.
Yeah, make your show better. Howard's gonna end up taking over your show, Brian.
And here's with the apology. Here's what my apology did. My father always said, saying I'm sorry means I'm a sorry piece of crap.
You can say the word shit.
Well, I mean, and I
Okay,
mean,
you need to clean up the language. Seriously. You need to go find yourself a Toastmasters club and start doing some public speaking. The the filler words, just use a pause. Like I do. You've never heard me repeat myself. You've never heard me saying like, unless I like something. You must admit that my speech is close to flawless.
that's why you should do your own show, Howard.
I am doing my own show. It's your show. You had Radio Gold last night and you completely overlooked it. You had All Stars.
Well, again, Debbie is offering her handout, coast to coast, with Debbie and the Jew, and that might be a good. I would listen to it. I would listen to that. And my food is here, so
What's next? Another cauliflower pizza, Brian? Really?
yes.
Why are you eating that shit? That's terrible.
It doesn't have any carbs.
Ah, boo-hoo, my carbs. I'm so fat.
Ooh. Well, my food is there. I didn't get what I wanted. I wanted pastrami, and I couldn't. They didn't have any. Now, oh well, I guess they have all left, and I'll go back to where I've started here. And yeah, there are people that don't necessarily like what I did, and I am, sorry for the whole thing with Dawning. And again, I'm an American of European descent. It's only a problem unless people make it one. And let's go back to throw me a bone. You left the stream and now you're back.
No, I had a customer call me.
There you go.
That happens.
That does happen.
Yes. I have a catfish in my refrigerator. Is that indicative of anything?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. What next for you today?
Are you
Going
saying
to,
I'm a catfish?
I'm sorry. Do you find a hidden meaning in my saying that I have a catfish in my refrigerator?
It kind of thinks that I'm a false person, perhaps.
Is that how you feel?
No.
How does a catfish represent something false?
Well, there is a thing called fat catfishing on the internet where people will put up fake profiles of themselves.
Yes. You
And
mean
try.
like throw me a bone?
Sure.
Okay. And is there also a thing called catfishing?
Yes,
That would be when somebody goes and fishes for a catfish.
that's correct.
So, do you see hidden meanings in everything? Are you so suspicious?
You brought up the catfish, sir.
Well, I just made a statement that I have a catfish in the refrigerator.
Why would you bring that up?
Well, it's a whole catfish. It's barbecued. It's quite
The,
tasty.
the importance of that on my show?
Absolutely no importance.
Then why would you bring it up?
I was thinking about catfish. I was getting a little hungry.
And I guess you think that's a good reason to bring that up.
Yes. Are you mimicking me now? Do you think that that will help you?
No, I'm just saying you brought up something that was irrelevant, and I think that you often do that. I could be wrong, but
Are you afraid to pick me up?
I don't know how heavy you are.
Right. Yet you do it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I let anyone come on who wants to come on. I mean, I'm open to anyone, just about anyone. You are not necessarily one of my favorite people because you often put me down. Uh, and
But don't you feel better about yourself after this whole discussion about what we talked about 10 minutes ago?
Not really. No.
You don't feel like that you've taken a step to right or wrong?
Uh, she no. Something like that would be spoken to a person directly and not.
Why? It was done in public. Praise in public,
I,
criticize in private.
I didn't. I
Hold
didn't.
on. Hold on. Praise in public, criticize in private. But you criticized in private, so it should be you should praise and apologize in public as well.
No, okay. First of all, directly to them, not like I mean, where they are there to respond to my.
Who's they?
We're Debbie. Debbie should be if I'm to apologize, it should be directly on there. But the thing about Debbie is she's not necessarily a person that accepts people's apology. She forgives, but apologies.
Didn't apologize.
You feel I didn't apologize.
No, you said there was no excuse. You were correct.
Okay. What's the point of that? What do I gain?
I would hope you gain a little bit more of Debbie's respect.
You think so?
I would hope so.
And
You could move on to another topic, you know.
good enough.
Do you have another topic to move on to?
Why do you have such disdain and dislike for donning armor?
I think he's a despicable human being, and I think he's the type that goes and attacks women because they're women. See, there's nothing about Debbie that he wouldn't like. Debbie's a white woman. She comes from a white family, from white stock. So that would be somebody that he would respect. But he didn't show that last night. What he showed was his disdain. He reminds me of George Sinzer from Blog Talk Radio. Remember George Sinzer, Firefox News Online, Howard? I've got you blocked, Howard. And George, whenever he would encounter a woman, would completely lose it because he hates women, and I found out why. He has a deep seated hatred of women because he can't be one. See, George is a crossdresser. I found that out. I doxed him to the nth degree. George, I've never said anything bad to George until he attacked me over 9/11 stuff. But I decided that George needed my full attention one day. And I found an email that belonged to George that opened up an entire new world. And that email was pregnant man, the number 4, hire.com. I'm sorry, at AOL.com. Pregnant man for hire. And I thought, that's a very interesting email, a choice of email. Well, I found Gina George Marie. We had George Sinzer, but I found Gina George Marie. And Gina George Marie is George Sinzer's alter ego. She is the result of his cross-dressing and inflating, which I have got to tell you, and I think you'd be most interested in this because this was something I came across now years later. George likes to inflate. That means George likes to appear as if he's pregnant. He inflates. But I came across a piece of porn that had the word inflating in it. And what I didn't realize was that this was a woman who shoves an air hose up somewhere and inflates. And I thought, wow, I've never seen that before in my life. This is something completely new. And so that led me now, this recently, maybe only a week or two ago, to question whether George does the same thing. I always thought inflating meant putting a balloon up under your clothes so that it looked like you had a big belly. But no, apparently you could put air in there until everything gets big. I didn't know that. You learn so many things from the internet. And that was a fascinating thing. And if you're wondering what all this has to do with you and Debbie and George and whatnot, I'm not entirely sure how I got off on this tangent, but it did have a meaning. And I'm not sure where to go with that. But you know what? You just got a very entertaining story, a true story, because a lot of people see, here's the thing. Everybody thinks that they can be anonymous on the internet. And my anonymity disappeared with Debbie over 10 years ago, not knowing that Blog Talk Radio showed the Skype name that you called in with. And my Skype name, eventually, if you dig deep enough, comes back to me. So my One Angry Jew was a great cover, and it would have been great had I not called in via Skype. It only takes one mistake. So why do I not like, donning armor and wear George Sinzer? George Sinzer, when confronted with a woman, will attack her mercilessly. And he will attack her more than he will attack a man. Yes, that's exactly what she said. She remembers. But George will attack women, and donning armor does exactly the same thing.
Is George Sinzer the anti-Semite?
No, George is not an anti-Semite. George is just a very strange character who has some issues. But I uncovered his alter ego, Gina George Marie. George likes to tell everybody how tough he is, that he was in the National Guard, in the New York National Guard, that he was an MP. And boy, I'll tell you, he busts heads and what a tough guy. And when a woman came on, that was George's cue to attack the woman mercilessly. And certainly not deserved, which is exactly what your good friend Donning Armour did last night.
Yes.
Even to the point of mocking her accent, which I kind of like, and not in a good way, not in a talented way, not like you would have Dana Carvey being the church lady. You wouldn't have something like that. It was ham-handed, ham-fisted, and listen, your mind can go to fisted all you want. And I still think that you didn't, but you did smile when I mentioned putting an air hose up there and blowing air into your body, which I just didn't think could be done. But I watched it online and her stomach inflated. I'd never heard of such a thing. Now I almost want to find out whether our friend George does the same thing. And I'm hoping that you have that visual in your head right now and cannot get it out all day, like a one of those songs that you can't get out of your head. I want you to think about it all day and night. Inflation. Go look it up. Search it. Body inflation. Apparently, it's a thing.
All right. Well, I guess it is a thing. And I think we will call this show a day.
Oh,
Now,
why would you call it a day when it could be a night?
well, for me, it's a day.
Well, for you, it might be a day, but it's a night for other people.
Yeah. Well, it will.
Where are you off to? It's Sunday. Do you work on a
Talk like me.
Sunday?
Talk like me. That's what Debbie says. Talk like me.
You can't do it. You're not good at
Do
imitations.
my
I
accent.
am.
Do my accent. Maybe I can. You do her accent. Go ahead.
No, I'm not in the mood.
All right, there you go.
I'd really like another cup of coffee, but I've already had a double shot of espresso, and there's nothing worse than having too much caffeine.
I think this show is really going nowhere, and I'm gonna change. I'm gonna put this time to really kind of
This
change.
show made you a better human being tonight. In a small way, you improved your likability. Ask Debbie.
Well, she says I'm hysterical. I don't know. I don't
Well,
know.
don't stare at the screen. Ask her. What are you, bashful?
I'm not bashful. I'm just,
You haven't heard that word in a long time, have you? A lot of words that you don't use. Yeah, what's going on with Angela? Angela has become a bit of a contrarian lately. What's going on with that?
I don't know.
Bring her on. So, in fact, she even started attacking Debbie last night when
Guys,
Debbie left. I found that to be very cowardly.
all right. Is there anything else to add before I end the show?
There's plenty to add. This could go on forever.
No,
I could go on forever. I am never at a loss for words.
that's good for you. Like I said, that's why you should do your own show.
Not like I said, as I said.
Howard, you would absolutely be helping me out if you did your own show because then I could see it in practice.
Well, I can do a show at any point in time. There's no effort to it.
Howard, you'd be helping me out tremendously. Don't you want to help me out?
Well, how would that help you out, though?
I would see in practice how great and good shows should be done.
You're seeing it in practice right now.
It's hard to do it at the time. I have to sit back at a thing.
No, wait. Why do you think it's different now, or versus whether I would do a show? You think that I have rehearsed this? What I'm saying? Nothing that I have said is rehearsed. everything that comes out of my mouth, not just that it is perfect English, but everything that comes out of my mouth is extemporaneous.
Well, I mean, the thing of it is, I'd be seeing it. I'd be seeing it as an observer, and it would be a different experience than you being on my show and me.
Well, you could replay your show after you take it down, as you're apt to do.
I did. By the way, I didn't take it down. I don't know if YouTube did anything with it, but I did not put it on private or take it down for my
Well,
knowledge.
why would YouTube do anything with last night's show?
I didn't. I didn't do anything with it.
No, I said, why would YouTube do anything?
I don't know.
Oh, I don't even bring Debbie on. Give her the link. Link is so far up there, she's not going to find it. Go give her the link again, and I'll tell her all about. I'll tell her all about what's going on here in Thailand with the COVID. And you have to say COVID as if you're a sheep,
You know,
because
I don't want to talk about this subject, Howard,
why not?
because YouTube restricts it.
No, they don't.
Yes, they do. You can't. They don't. They.
Thailand is lining up the 5-year-olds for COVID shots. I don't think that word will hit the speech recognition. Let me try it again. Let me see. COVID. I don't think that'll be caught.
Debbie's not coming on.
Why not?
She hasn't punched in the link, so
That doesn't mean she's not coming on. Your reasoning skills and logic need a little brush up. They're vaccinating. I'm sorry, they're not vaccinated. They don't vaccinate. They inject things into 5-year-olds here. The parents.
She did so for the polio vaccine. The small.
The parents cannot wait to get their children an injection.
Yeah,
They clamor at the door.
I was injected for polio, smallpox.
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the injections for COVID.
I know you probably had the measles and mumps when you were a kid. You maybe didn't get inoculated. You know, maybe.
No, I never had measles and mumps. I had chicken pox.
I did too.
I gave chicken pox to my son when I caught the shingles.
You didn't get a shingle shot, I imagine, huh?
Well, I did get a shingles shot and found out that it's bullshit because it didn't work for very long. They didn't tell me that it wore off.
Well, it does wear off.
It does.
You probably got it 20 years ago.
No, I got it about 8 or 9 years ago. Now, that's a bit off the subject. However, I got a measles and a mumps shot. I've never had measles and mumps. You know, it's funny that I didn't ever worry about catching measles or mumps because I am vaccinated.
There you go.
And that particular vaccination is not a leaky or a non-sterile vaccine. So I don't have to expect to ever catch measles or mumps. However, I did get a COVID vaccine. I got the Chinese Sinovac, which is approved by the WHO for COVID. And I still caught Omicron. And so glad that I did, because I was looking for a woman who had Omicron on Tinder. And if a woman had told me that she did, I would have gone over, gotten laid, and caught it on purpose. Now, you're shaking your head like, why would he do that? Now, I don't understand why in America people are dying from Omicron when in the rest of the world they're not. People are not being hospitalized. People are not being put on ventilators. People are not even getting oxygen. in intensive care units around the world. And yet in America, they are. For some reason, in America, people seem to be more in danger from Omicron, where it has not endangered anybody around the world. And that's a very interesting question to ask. Why? Why is that the case? Because I don't get it, unless for the fact that the rest of the world had a choice of COVID injections. Whereas in the United States, what were your choices?
Moderna, Pfizer. I forget if there were any other, but I
Right.
just
So, what of the majority of Americans who've been vaccinated? What do they get injected with? Pfizer, Moderna?
I'm not sure what the majority do.
Well, if that's all that's available to you, that's what they got. Listen, I think it's safe to say that if the chef in the all night diner only cooked lemon pies, that I could pretty much conclude that everybody today who ordered a pie ate a lemon pie. That's called logic.
Very well, Howard. Now I'm a little bit on the tired side, and I'm
Have
going.
I tired? Have I made you tired?
Perhaps,
Are you being stoic?
perhaps.
Does the Brian inside of you want to break free and scream?
No,
When's the last time you've exited that apartment?
when I go to work.
Do you go anywhere else besides work?
Not really.
So you go from that apartment with that sorry Dyson fan in the background to work. Do you also have a Dyson fan at work?
No.
Would you please put that on eBay?
But I make money.
Yeah. And it would have a good home. Somebody would love that Dyson fan. They would turn it on every day and marvel at the fact that there's no blade. They would show their friends. They would make video calls. If they had an iPhone, they would call their friends on FaceTime and say, "Look, it blows air, but there's no blade, and it's powerful." Instead, that poor contraption sits there, gathering dust. It's a sad, sad state of affairs that Dyson fan has not moved in possibly more than a year. Used to be up on that table, but I'm not sure when that was. I'm not sure how long it will be until its next move. It's the world's slowest moving Dyson fan.
All right, Howard. Anything to add before I end this show?
Yes, was the Dyson fan a gift?
No, I bought it.
And why don't you use it?
I don't really like it. Just, I probably didn't get the settings right or whatever, but yeah.
Wait.
All right.
What settings are we talking about? You turn it on, you turn it off. High, low, medium.
Yeah.
you just there can't be that many settings.
It did,
How many settings do you have on your Dyson
came
fan?
out hot air, and I didn't like it. Okay, that's it.
Hot air came out of your Dyson.
Yeah, that's what it felt like anyway.
Was it a hot room?
Perhaps.
Then what did you think it was going to blow? Did you think it was going to miraculously blow cool air?
Yes. Yes, I
It's
did.
not an air conditioner. It's a fan without blades. And so for that egregious error, you have relegated that Dyson to the floor.
Yes. Howard, anything else to add? I'm going to end this show. So,
Have you thought of tipping it over and just adding more insult to injury? Put it on eBay.
All right, I'll put it on eBay. Anything else to add, Howard, before I call this show a day and a
Yes.
night?
What is that computer in the background?
Howard, no more questions.
Does it ever turn on?
Howard, I'm not going anywhere with these stupid.
Can I get you to order a one of those Indian statues where you put cigars in it?
You're being stupid. All right, hey guys.
No, can you buy these things? Let me tell you how bad things have gotten.
Okay, I don't want to continue this, Howard. I'm getting ready to end the show. I gave you a chance.
Well, no, I'm going to end the show with this. My friend just had I think it's a granddaughter. I'm not sure. He's Swiss. His son is Swiss and Venezuelan. And he and I think his Colombian wife just had a baby and named the baby Dominique. Now, I don't know if Dominique is a man's name or a woman's name, because his son, the father of Dominique, his name is Danielle. And for us, that's a woman's name, but not in Switzerland. Now, I noticed that the baby had a not very pink cap on, but it was pink if you look carefully. Now, knowing what's going on in America, I have to ask the question, do they give out pink caps to babies? Or do they, because that would be gender specific and we can't have that, are hospitals alternating the color of the hats that they give to the babies just because they don't want to name or be gender specific with the children? Can I be assured that a baby with a pink cap is a girl, especially when she's named or he's named Dominique? And I'm not sure if that's a man's name or a woman's name.
All right, guys, I want you, Debbie Daly.
Did you hear anything I just said?
Right. I heard everything you said, and I want to end the show, Howard. You're not.
Will you send that Dyson fan to them as a baby gift?
Get off the stream because you're doing what you do all the time. You're interrupting.
No, but will you send that Dyson fan to them as a baby gift?
I will send it as however, Howard.
I'll give you the address in Miami. Will you send it to them as a baby gift? Will you give that Dyson fan a home?
I'm not giving anything unless for money, Howard. There's tough times. All right, I couldn't anymore. Okay, that's enough. All right, Debbie Daly says, look for the new show on YouTube, Coast to Coast with Debbie and the Jew. Please listen to it. That would be a dream of mine, because then Howard would go on to do something else instead of coming on to my show. His knowledge would be appreciated much more than with me. I'm like a hot, attractive woman that doesn't give Howard the time of day, or doesn't, like he's a pesky little friend. But Howard, this woman, Debbie, loves you. Loves you, Howard. So, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, share the video, visit our Rumble page, it's in the description, and also visit our website at transparencyandmerit.com. I'll also start putting that in the description box. Anyway, guys, really thank you all for listening. Oh, I'm so tired.